Hi class, so for today's video, we'll be looking into an example in your partial fractions chapter. This is in your AM textbook page 72. Okay, before I continue with this question 2, I'd like you to try it out first and then later you can compare your answer to my final solution. Okay, so for this question, before we do anything else, we need to check whether we need to do long division for this fraction over here. But we notice that the denominator polynomial is degree 2. And for denominator, whole thing is of degree 3. So do we need to do long division? No, we don't need to do any long division. We can just go straight into finding out what are my partial fractions and what is the formula. Okay, so I would like you to write the very first statement. Are you able to write the first statement in which what are the partial fractions for this question? Do you manage to get the same first statement like me? Take note that for this question, we have a repeated linear factor, x plus 2 whole thing square. Okay, the repeated linear factor is x plus 2. Hence, we will need to write down two other partial fractions, which is x plus 2 and x plus 2 whole thing square. Okay, next is we need to simplify this equation. How do we simplify is to remove the unnecessary denominator. Okay, so we do not have any denominator left. Meaning, we will just need to look at my numerator. I just want 4x squared plus 5x minus 32 on the left hand side. And to do that, we will multiply everything by the denominators, which is x minus 11, x plus 2 whole thing square. So it should look something like this. Okay, try it out and see whether are you able to find out what are in my brackets for A, B, and C. How do we know what is A multiplied with? We just look at what is missing for this fraction A. Because A, the denominator for A is x minus 11. So what's missing is we have x plus 2 whole thing square. Similarly for B, we realize that B is missing x minus 11. Not only that, we're also missing something else, which is another x plus 2. Okay, and for C, what we're missing is my x minus 11. Now, after this, we will just need to find out what is my individual A, B, and C. What are the values of A, B, and C? And to do that, again, the quickest way is to let x be a number so that we can eliminate some of the factors over here. For example, if I let x be 11, meaning that I sub 11 into all my x, what I will have is 507 equals to 1698. You can immediately calculate and write for me this equation. Okay, notice why my B and C are missing. It's because B and C are both multiplied with x minus 11, x minus 11. So if I sub x inside, the factor would be 0. So then I'm able to calculate my A. My A would just be 3. Okay, so do the same for B and see what you get. Do you get the same answer for C? So note that I started with C first because I noticed that I can eliminate x plus 2 factor and x plus 2's factor when I let x be negative 2. So if I let x be negative 2, I will get C equals to 2. Now, the last one is how do we find B? Okay, to find B, we will just need to sub a value of x other than 11 and negative 2. For me, personally, I like to use 0. Because 0 is quite an easy number to work with, we can eliminate some of the terms in the equation. If I let x be 0, you will get negative 32 equals to 4a minus 22b minus 11c. And how do we find c? How do we find b? Because we know what's the values of a and c respectively, I can sub it in. And I'll get this. So we are easily able to find out what is my value of b. Use your calculator. You can directly use your calculator and get b equals to 1. If you tend to make more careless mistakes, please write more steps so that you're more assured of your answer. And final step, of course, is to sort back all my values of a, b, and c, all my unknowns, back into my partial fractions equation. Okay. And this will be my final answer. So how do we actually give you the marks? For this kind of question, typically it will be 4 to 5 marks. Okay, but the key marking point is if you're able to find out what is my A, my C, and my B, all of these have working marks. Final answer will be given 1 answer mark. Sometimes if the question is 5 marks, you'll be given marks over here for writing the partial fractions. And we are done with this question.